Chapter 1, Section 4, France in the New World. French claims in North America. The first French explorers came to the New World in search of the Northwest Passage, a supposed water route through North America to the Pacific. In 1524, Giovanni da Verrazzano, an Italian, explored the eastern coast of North America for France, from North Carolina to Nova Scotia, Canada. 10 years later, Jacques Cartier led an expedition that discovered the St. Lawrence River. Early establishments. In the 1560s, Huguenots, or French Protestants, established Charles Fort on the coast of South Carolina and Fort Caroline on the coast of Florida. The Huguenots came to the New World to escape religious persecution. Their settlements failed, however, because of hardships and Spanish hostilities against Protestants. New France is established. In 1608, the first permanent French settlement in the New World was established at Quebec, Canada, by Samuel de Champlain, the father of New France. Other Frenchmen soon followed Champlain to North America, hoping to find a way to Asia, discover wealth, or convert the Indians to Catholicism. In 1673, Jacques Marquette, a Jesuit missionary, and Louis Joliet, a fur trader, led an expedition which explored the central Mississippi River. They were probably the first white men to see parts of Illinois and Wisconsin. They explored the Mississippi as far south as the mouth of the Arkansas River. In 1682, Robert Cavelier de La Salle sailed down the Illinois River to the Mississippi River and all the way down to the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico. He claimed the entire Mississippi Valley for France and named it Louisiana in honor of King Louis XIV of France. La Salle's claim to this large expanse of land stretched from the Appalachian Mountains to the Rockies and from the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico. The French ultimately claimed Canada, the Great Lakes region, and the Mississippi Valley as New France in hope of establishing a vast empire in North America. Throughout New France, the French built forts to serve as outposts for defense, trade, and missionary endeavors among the Indians. However, most of the French colonists remained in the Great Lakes region, where they soon established a thriving fur trade. The fur trade became the most profitable business in New France, for furs from the New World sold well in Europe. The fur trade also allowed the French to develop a good relationship with the Indians. The Indians gladly traded the pelts, or furs, of wild animals for tools, clothing, blankets, utensils, and trinkets. Many of the French lived among the Indians and learned their Indian language, and some married the Indian women. Most of the Indian tribes became allies of the French, with the exception of the Iroquois of Upper New York. The Iroquois had received a humiliating defeat from Champlain and the Algonquin and Huron Indians, and they never forgot it. In later encounters between the French and the British in North America, the Iroquois sided with the British. The French legacy in North America. New France never became heavily populated for several reasons. 1. Most of the French colonists were hunters and traders and never established permanent homes. 2. They lacked self-government. New France was ruled by the French king and his royal governor. Because noblemen held the land in large estates, the common man had no opportunity to own land and little chance of becoming truly prosperous. 3. They lacked religious freedom. Only French Catholics were allowed to migrate to New France. The French Protestants, or Huguenots, who were seeking religious freedom, were not allowed to settle in New France. Eventually, many of them sought refuge in the English colonies. Although there was not a large French population in the New World, the French still left a notable heritage in North America. The French legacy of language, geographical names, religion, government, customs, and traditions can be especially seen in eastern Canada, the Great Lakes region, and the state of Louisiana. New Orleans, Louisiana, founded in 1718, is probably the best-known city of French heritage in the United States.